And it's now time to present this year's James Madison Award, which is bestowed on those who have demonstrated outstanding commitment to the principles of open government and the principles that the First Amendment was designed to protect. This is the FOI Foundation's most prestigious award, and in the past has been presented to journalists, attorneys, elected officials, academics, vigilant citizens. We're saluting someone who has dedicated many years to exposing truth and protecting the public's right to know here in Texas. This year's recipient is Ross Ramsey. Now, many of you here know Ross, but I'll have to say a few things. And Ross has been a Texas journalist for over 40 years, and he retired earlier this year from the Texas Tribune. Ross co-founded the Tribune in 2009 and served as its executive director, and he wrote regular columns on government and on politics, always helping us learn more about what's happening behind the scenes in Texas government. Earlier in his career, Ross was editor and co-owner of Texas Weekly. He also was a reporter and editor at other Texas news organizations, including the Houston Chronicle, the Dallas Times-Herald, radio stations in Denton and Dallas, and as a Dallas-based freelancer for regional and national magazines and newspapers. Additionally, Ross also worked for about 2 years in state government at the Texas Comptroller's Office. I know we have our friends at the Comptroller's Office here. Now, during his tenure at the Texas Tribune between 2010 and 2014, Ross served on the board of the Freedom of Information Foundation of Texas. Contributed greatly to the FOIFT's mission. I learned from Ross when I joined early on and got to see him work on the board. And we are proud to present this year's James Madison Award to Ross Ramsey for his distinguished career kept focused on keeping the public informed and insisting that government transparency be taken seriously. Congratulations, Ross.
I knew I was going to get a Texas Tribune table. I didn't know I was going to get a controller table. Welcome to my fan clubs. Thanks very much for this. I'm a longtime fan and professional beneficiary of this organization and its good works, and this means a lot to me. On a side note, as a high school and college band nerd, I have to mention Lizzo's visit to the Library of Congress, where she played a crystal flute owned by the president for whom this Open Government Award is named. Politicians like Madison may not be regular folk, but they do have some things in common with the rest of us. One of those is the idea that citizens ought to know what's being done in their names for their benefit or to their detriment. An organization like the Freedom of Information Foundation of Texas shouldn't have to exist, but thank God it does. It has always bothered me that we have to have laws in place to get the government to open its meetings, document its decisions, and reveal to its citizens the materials of the work it's doing in our collective interest. I understand the need for a secret here and there, but it bugs me that we need to spend so much time and effort to get governments and the companies to which those governments outsource so much government work to tell us what they're doing in our names. What's going on at the parents' table? Who told them they were the parents' table? There's something to be said about exempting the legislature from the law. The people who wrote themselves out are the ones most exposed to public approval and disapproval, the ones most afraid of what the public might do if it could see what's really going on in there. If nothing else, that's a great illustration of the power of open and accessible public information. Theirs ought to be open too. Where would we be without organizations like this one? Without laws that you've promoted and protected and worked to improve? Without the legal battles with governments that find it so hard to follow the laws they're supposed to enforce? You only need a few headlines to make the point. I'll condense this first one to a word and a number, January 6th. The videos from Uvalde that showed the utter ineptitude of law enforcement in the face of a horrifying mass murder of children on government property. The filing that showed Dan Patrick owned BlackRock stock. He was trying to keep the state from investing in because of the company's position on climate change. The results, or the lack of results, from the billions of dollars Texas is spending on the state's border with Mexico. The decision-making around whether to keep playing and singing The Eyes of Texas. The creation of a conservative university within UT Austin. Those are all things the government would rather have kept all of us from knowing more about. Open government's not the sexiest of issues, but it's among the most important. Without these laws, there is so much that we wouldn't know, or wouldn't know until well after we had an opportunity to do something about it. It brings to light the official work that often can survive only if nobody knows what's going on. It gives the public a chance to say, stop, or proceed. It keeps our government somewhat more honest than it would be, and more often than it wants to be. So thanks for doing what you do. Please keep doing it. And thank you very much for this honor. It means a lot.